And as you can see, we are joined by Bart and Jennifer Mills. It's time now for our weekly movie review. And this week we are looking at the movie Dumb Money. And this one's about the GameStop stock buy-up. So kind of a niche crowd looking at this one.
Yeah, this is the story of Keith Gill, who was a YouTube sensation for about 6 months back during the early days of COVID. It's about this whole group of people. Nick Gill was this guy on YouTube who was a minor financial investor who talked a bunch of people into buying GameStop stock. And GameStop was obviously the video game stores that are in the malls. A lot of the big hedge funds, the big investors in the world were all what we call shorting it. So these guys decided to invest in it in the real way, and both in a way to earn money, but also in a way to sort of stick it to these hedge funds. And so we do have sort of, in this case, it's a David and Goliath story. And of course, David is the small investors working out of their basements, and Goliath are the billionaire hedge fund owners.
So not unusual. Most movies try to cast this movie so that it will appeal to you. Did they cast it well, Jennifer?
I think they did, because we actually we'd watched the documentary a couple years ago on Netflix. The documentary is called Eat the Rich, for anybody interested in that. And it's interesting after you see the real characters juxtaposed with the actors they had playing them. I think they did a really good job. Paul Dano was Keith Gill, and he looked, and actually he was probably a lot more earnest than the real Keith Gill. You really felt for him, and you know, he had a real following. People loved him, and that's why they kept holding. They wouldn't sell, even though they could have made way more money if they'd sold earlier. And it was just literally everyone holding together to just try to, you know, give it to these billionaires and make them lose more money.
Well, it sounds like if you didn't get a chance to see this movie at the movie theater, you were mentioning to me, Bart, you think this one will probably end up on Netflix rather quickly.
Yeah, it didn't do particularly well at the box office. I mean, between the actors' strike, you've got all these, you know, you've got guys like Vincent D'Onofrio, maybe not the biggest name, Seth Rogen, you've got Nick Offerman, you've got Pete Davidson. These are all guys that if they're able to go out and talk about their movie, especially a movie like this that can probably use a little explaining, it's going to do better. And so they didn't have that opportunity because of the strike. And so it only made like $8 million on a $30 million budget at the box office. So it's probably not going to be at the movies very long. And this is Sony Pictures. They have a deal with Netflix. So I imagine you'll probably see it on Netflix before the end of the year.
Okay, let's get a thumbs up, thumbs down. Jennifer, we're going to start with you.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very, very entertaining. I was rooting for these little guys the whole way. You know, you've got college students buying stock, you've got nurses, you've got people actually working at GameStop, you know, working against the system, just trying to win for once. And it was really entertaining.
And Bart, how about you?
Yeah, I think it's a good movie. I think that, you know, it's quick. It's funny. It's well-paced. The director did I, Tonya, and a couple of other things. It's in good hands. I would also suggest probably just you can hang out. It'll be on Netflix pretty soon. And I highly recommend the 3-part documentary if you really want to know the story behind this. The movie was entertaining. The truth is pretty entertaining as well. So check that out.
Bart and Jennifer Mills with our review of the movie Dumb Money, and we'll be back with more right after this.